Now then, and welcome back to another episode of Football Manager 17. Playing with Wolverhampton Wanderers, and we're about to kick off the league. We've had a very good pre-season. We have not lost a game, we've only conceded one goal. All friendly games though, all pre-season, all experimenting with tactics and changing all the players around. And I think I've been quite fortunate really. Those teams are not to be worried about because they were only friendly matches, so I just threw players into places and checked out new formations and tested out some theories and won every match, only conceding one goal. Not bad, but we can't count that as being a Premiership side. I've been looking at what our next few matches are, and the first match that we're going to be doing today is pretty interesting looking. It's Rotherham. Now, Rotherham are expected to finish 22nd out of 24 in the league. They are newly promoted. They came up from fairly newly promoted. They came up from League One very recently and are trying to make it in the Championship after a long time down in League Two up to League One and just trying to hold their head above water in the Championship, which is why the media predict only a 22nd place finish. Now, that's not necessarily the most interesting bit, okay? Well, I think I'm going to beat them. They've won their games in Prelude as well, in the pre-season. They drew against Parkgate? Yeah, they've won. They drew against Parkgate 2-2, and I looked at that match report, and it wasn't very special. Nothing really happened going on. I think the interesting thing for me is the manager, Kenny Jackett. Kenny Jackett was the Wolves manager just recently until 2016. Oh, wait a minute. We're in 2016 in the game. This is literally, I took over from this guy, Kenny Jackett. And Kenny Jackett moved straight on to this team, Rotherham. And the very first match, competitively, that I'm going to be playing is against the ex-manager of the club that I'm now managing. Which is crazy, isn't it? Yes. So this is quite an important match for pride, more than anything, to show the board that they made the right choice and all that. Well, I suppose. His team isn't so hot as mine, I guess. I don't know why he got sacked. I hope I don't go the same way after the first season in charge. I don't know. I had a little change around with the tactics, okay? So I've been playing with 3 different tactics and testing them out during the pre-season, and I finally decided that I'm going to probably use the Grey Wolf tactic the most. The Grey Wolf tactic can be adapted to be both other sets of tactics, so I can up it into the Timberwolf tactic, and I can knock down one of the midfielders and make it into the Mountain Wolf tactic. So I can change them around and move them around a little bit easily with subs during matches to change their overall outlook on the game. Another thing I discovered that I've just been doing is setting all this up. You can see there's a lot of little locks down the side here. If you notice here, the forward, Paul Glaydon, is a deep lying forward, and when he's on the pitch in that position, he's a deep lying forward. Let's take Joe Mason, for instance. Put him on the pitch. He is a false 9, but he plays the deep line forward. Now, that's nothing special, you may ask. Yeah, nothing special. But wait until I throw somebody in like this tacker here. When I put him in the place, it switches automatically to poacher because it has his setup sorted out. It has his formation sorted out. If we go into here, look, there's a player instructions tab, which is on here, or the second tab in. And it allows you to add instructions for the players. So the instructions for any player in the striker position, any player I place in the striker position are such, right? I want them to play a poacher, shoot more often, pass it short, move into channels, close down much less, fewer risky passes and get further forward. That's all part of being a poacher. When Joe Mason joins or gets put into that position, it switches to a deep lying forward with those instructions. Paul, he gets these instructions. Now, slightly different instructions because Joe Mason has a good dribbling score of 13, so he can dribble, whereas Gladden has got a dribbling score of 9, so I've told him to dribble less. You see? And then Bodvarsson is a poacher, so he's got the poacher skills. Dicko is a poacher, so he gets the poacher skills. There's those subtle differences, so as I make quick changes, I don't need to worry about changing all of their individual tactics because it's saving them all. So as I change the team for rotation purposes, the players that I put into their locations, into their formation, will automatically change all of their tactics and settings for that location and that player, making it a lot easier to keep track and make changes without needing to remember to change all the tactic around every time I change anything, which means I only need one tactic up here in the tactics section, which means that with the training in match training, I'm only training familiarity in one tactic, and that's got to be quicker than trying to train familiarity in 3 different tactics. I train in the one tactic and the one tactic alone. And that is my plan, to train them up in this Grey Wolf tactic and just have a little bit of adaptability every now and again and hope that their familiarity increases with this to the point where a few little changes here and there don't hurt anything. This is now my starting 11. At the moment, Gladden is in there as my starting 11 because I've got injuries with Dicko. He's out a little bit longer. He's out for 3 to 5 weeks, so the whole of this month. And Buvarson is also injured, but he's out between 10 days and 2 weeks. So I can't use either of those just yet. So I'm down to my 3rd pick and 4th pick, Joe Mason and Paul Gladen. And as we saw in the preseason, Paul has managed to get me a few goals. So I'm quite pleased about it overall. Let's have a look at his little stats thing here. Career stats. No, not the career stats then. Let's have a look at his season stats. Non-competitive. He has appeared in 2 of the friendlies and 2 in off the bench. So he's appeared in 4 of the friendlies. He scored 2 goals and got 1 player of the match with an average rating of 7.2 in those 4 games. So he's done very good. For being my 4th best striker, he's done very good. Joe Mason has done equally as well. Look, he's got 2 and 2 off the bench with 2 goals, 1 assist and 1 player of the match with an average rating of 7.05. So I decided to play Gladen because of the slightly higher average rating. There's nothing much more in it apart from he got the assist as well. So yeah, I'm going to be switching between those 2 in the first few matches just to see how we get on. But the schedule dictates that we are playing Rotherham, which is a big match for me, so I would like to show you that today. Alrighty then, let the season begin. Let the Saturday Sports Spectacular happen. I expect a win today, boys, so get out there and show me who wants this, who wants to be on the team. I want the striker to get out there and make a difference today. I want the defenders, of course, to do solid defending. I want take control out of the midfield and just get out there and score me some goals and show me that it's working. I've given them very, very precise instructions, limited instructions, but still precise in many ways. And I'm hoping to get off to a great start to the season. Newcastle have already played Fulham. They played yesterday, and Newcastle, the favourites to win the league, have won their match cleanly against Fulham. Newcastle and... Oh, that was so close. Oh, breathtaking stuff within the first 10 minutes. Newcastle, Aston Villa and Norwich are looking the hot favourites to come first, second and third. We as a team are supposed to finish in the top half. And after looking at stats and stars and all sorts of lines of detail and text for ages and ages, I realised that Wolves are not a Premiership side yet. I mean, most of the sides that... Ooh, that was so close. They let him through, didn't they? Most of the sides that do have a lot going for them have 4-star players, rightly so, in the Premiership sides. And in order to beat the top 3 of this league, I think I'm going to need to have a Premiership side. So what I'm going to have to do this season is to finish in the top half, just to meet all the board requirements, not lose too many matches, and try to get some good money behind me so I can purchase some really big players in the second part of the season. And the first half goes by with limited chances on both sides. Nice and simple. Alright, let's get back out there and win this. I don't think there is anything I want to change in particular. Super Sub, it looks like they're all doing okay, really. SAS is doing a little bit worse, so let's bring on Poyet on for SAS. And now we've also purchased McKay. I will go into detail about McKay a little later on in this video. And he is a winger. And if one of those two wingers is not doing the job right, by the 70th minute mark, I will substitute him off and bring on some super subs for the last bit of the second half. For now, though, we are dominating possession, fairly average in the shots on target, off target, and how many shots we've taken. We're doing well passing and heading, and we're winning the match, but we're not scoring any goals just yet. So I will be hopeful, very hopeful, for a quick change around about the 70th minute, like around about now, to just sort things out a little bit. Let's bring on Mason and see if he can do any better. Paul just hasn't found his footing yet. He's been playing as a deep line forward, and he's got the striking rate. He's just not making any effort out there, is he? He's just he's looking motivated, but he only got a 6.5, so maybe the crosses aren't coming into him. And as for the wingers are looking okay, so I'm not going to reveal my star player McKay this match. And as for the wing backs or the full backs, they don't look too bad. It looks like Borthwick Jackson is having a good game, so I think I'm going to bring Super Sub on the on the right back position, and send him off as a full back on attack. And let's see how that goes. All right, we're currently on a control tactic, so we're attacking most of the time, but we're trying to control the game, control the pace, control the ball, and keep possession as much as possible. We've got a lot of passing and shooting available to us, and I'm hoping that we're going to unlock the potential of these forwards who are not that great, as it were, in stat-wise. Oh, that was a close one. We pick it back up on the edge of the area. Oh, what was that? Come on, that was heart-racing. Well, we nearly made it. We've got a few more shots on goal. We're attacking once again now with another highlight, so we've put in pressure on now. We've done some work. Prince tries to get it round. We get another cross in. It comes back out. There's lots of defenders. It's a very man-marking team that they're playing against us. Oh, Cody from a long-range shot. Lovely goal. That was excellent. I made him a vice captain because of his leadership, but he's also going to be playing in midfield quite a lot. Let's take a look at the shot. Exciting second half. Now we've got a 1-0 advantage on our kind of rivals. He's my personal rival of Rotherham, because the Rotherham manager used to manage Wolves, and I've taken his job. Come on, highlights, load up. Let's have a look. So it came back out. Look at the man marking on them. They're double marking. And then Cody's just unmarked out there because they're not marking the midfielders. Lovely long ball in to the bottom corner. There was no chance for the goalkeeper there. And Prince is bringing it all the way through. What a dribble. Through to the forwards. Oh, he even took a touch off the defender there. Joe Mason with another long shot. What a great game this has turned out to be. Look, Prince brings it all the way. Mason chips it. It gets nodded down by the defender, and he goes and has a go. The goalkeeper even got a hand on it. Wow. I wonder if the defender gets the assist for that. I don't think Prince has got the assist. No, Prince didn't get the assist because it came off the defender first. Oh, wow. Okay, and we're at it again. Here's another attack. Well, the tactics changed just by changing a couple of players on the pitch. We've managed to draw out 2 extra goals. Cody's been on the whole match, so I don't know if that's a sign that he was just being a bit slow the first few minutes of the game. But maybe Mason has made a big difference on the pitch. Who knows whether it was my changes or whether it... Oh, speak too soon. We let him through at the back there. We've now conceded our first goal of the season. It's kind of a flick through the legs. He megsed him. And then the keeper was already laying down by the looks of that. Mahoney with a goal. To draw it level, they're going to have to work really hard to draw it level. 2 minutes have been added to the game. I can't see them catching up here. I'm not making any changes. I'm just going to leave them to it. This should be the final kicks of the game. If they can get an equaliser now, then I will be very upset with this match. They're going to try, though. No, they tried at least. At least they gave a good fight. But we win 2-1 our first game. Unfortunately, not a clean sheet for our goalkeeper. But a win for us nonetheless. And the majority of the players have got decent stats out of it. Not great, some of them. 6.8 for Danny. I think the pressure was on today because I spoke well about him in the press, saying if he performs well, everyone will perform well. And Sass just didn't do it for me at all this game. Gladden didn't do it for me at all. Poyet pulled off a good midfield work, and Savaro helped out a bit. Joe Mason, of course, getting a goal, gets an 8. That's a good start for him. I might play him at the start next match just to see how he gets on with that. I think overall that's pretty good. And the league table, after one game, not expecting it to look realistic just yet. We've got Notts Forest, Brentford, Newcastle, Wigan, Birmingham, Ipswich, ourselves, Norwich, all winning the games first off. So that means that Aston Villa, one of the favourites, haven't played yet. And Leeds, they should be one of the favourites as well, really. Haven't won yet. Haven't played yet. And what's the shock surprise then? Well, Fulham getting beaten by Newcastle. That's kind of like the only loss I'm expecting them to get most of the season. Norwich, Aston Villa. Aston Villa haven't played yet. Norwich and Newcastle winning. Yeah. So it's about right for the season, really, so far. A good start for most of those teams. And down Rotherham go down here. Bye-bye, Rotherham. Thank you very much for turning up. Ha! Well, check it out. Making their debut. Not only myself making my managerial debut, but also Cavallero is French from AS Monaco. Joined, and he's made his debut. Savaro, Prince, Diego Poyet, Gladen, and Sass all make their debuts today in the match. Some more than others were impressive. But by far the most impressive was obviously Cody, who scored the brilliant goal from outside the area. He arrived for 2 million from Huddersfield in 2015, according to this. Well, it's playing as a box-to-box midfielder today, which is the role that I've put him in down that side there. And put in a superb performance, according to this. A powerful long-range strike to clinch the game for me. Pretty awesome. Speaking about £2 million fees, we recently bought, as in I bought this transfer window, Barry McKay from Rangers for 2 million. I paid 2 million for him. I'm not 100% sure I know what I was doing, really. It's the first big money transfer I've done. I've done lots of free transfers before. And according to Best Players, he's right down there at 6th for attacking midfielder, which is his most favoured position. But also, attacking midfielder left, he's down there at 8th. And attacking midfielder centre is 4th. So, he's not ranking in the best players. But when I look at the stats of him, his actual ability scores, his potential is 4, which is a Premiership side, Premiership star rating. So he's only 21, so we can run him a few seasons here at Wolves and he'll be a Premiership player. Very good. But the stats just don't seem to work out right according to the system. But he's got the highest finishing at 14 of any player on my team. He's got the highest dribbling of 16 of any player on my team. 16 first touch, I think, is the highest on my team. Long shots, 15. I think that's the highest on my team. He's good at passing with 13. He's good with his technique. Penalty taking, 14, one of the highest on the team. Corners, 13 as well. Crossing, 15. He's good all round on the things that you would expect. The pace of 14, acceleration of 15. He's good at what I would expect a winger to need. The crossing of 15 is pretty amazing by the standards of my other wingers. So how he doesn't rate in the system better than my other wingers, I'm not 100% sure. It's probably due to his mental stats still developing because he's a youngster. And maybe because he's only got 2 in his heading skill, and 3 in his long throws, and 5 marking, and 5 tackling. I'm not going to be asking him to tackle and mark and do long throws and head. He's a little bit more like a Lionel Messi, probably, hopefully, maybe. Doing running and dribbling and cutting inside and making shots happen and just being awesome first touch. I want to play him in all 3 positions in the attacking midfield roles, and I'm currently training him up in the midfield centre as a shadow striker, the one he's least successful at according to this, probably because of the mental stats again. The determination of 1 probably brings him right down. So I've put him in the team on the subs bench for a little while, and we're going to run him for a season or so and develop him and train him and bring him on from time to time as a super sub in any of those winger positions and also in the attacking centre when I feel like having an extra attacker on board, and give him a role like that in the team. And hopefully that will be worth the 2 million that we paid for him. Obviously, Cody has just proven his worth for the 2 million, as in he's still in the first team and he's still cracking them goals in, and he did a decisive goal today. Pretty awesome. Joe Mason, Joe Mason's only got 12 finishing. McKay's got more finishing power than the striker that scored today. He's got Cody, midfielder, finishing long shots of 11. McKay has better long-range shooting than the guy from Liverpool who did the amazing long shot today to win us the match. So I think McKay's a really good signing, and I'm surprised that he's not rated higher by the scouts and the other managers. I'm hoping to prove everybody wrong in the system, that I can beat the system of points by bringing McKay into the team and showing them that those stats are good for a player of his stature. But that is it for today's episode. I'm sorry I'm not going to do more for you right now. The schedule dictates that we're going to have a cup first round against Luton. That might be interesting for next week's episode. And I'm probably going to run through a few of these games quickly off camera, as it were, not record them until we get to maybe Newcastle. Newcastle's the first big game. The others, I think we're going to win fairly straightforward. Newcastle, that's going to be a bit of a fight. So we'll find out more in the next episode on the Saturday Sports Spectacular next week. Until then, thank you very much for watching Football Manager 17. I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.